The train now arriving at platform 5 is the 2205, diverting East Coast Main Line service to London King's Cross.
Hello YouTube viewers, and welcome to part 27 of the Ballan Parkway double O gauge layout project. We did Worley a few weeks ago, towards the end of November. It was great to catch up with people there and chat to people who sort of meet on YouTube and from the show, obviously, the Great Model Railway Challenge. We were there with our team, Who's Counting Rivets, displaying the Miniature Wonderland project we did as a final layout. Never been there before to Worley. I've been to the NEC to, I think a few years ago, to see the Pet Shop Boys at a live concert. That was probably in the 90s, but never been to Worley. Never been to display a layout ever in public. Just the one at home I do, so this is a brand new experience. But it's great to catch up with the rest of the team from Who's Counting Rivets and display our final layout, Miniature Wonderland. So great to chat with people there, and it was a massive venue. Some great stalls there, great layouts, and we had a great time. Quite tiring over 2 days, but really nice to see you, honestly. I want to wish you all a happy Christmas and a prosperous, peaceful New Year next year. So without further ado, let's go on with the update. Have a good Christmas and Happy New Year. See you in the new year. Just show these roll cages here from Scale Model Scenery. These are excellent. I've made 3 of them so far. They come in a pack of 4. They're laser cut. Excellent quality. They come in unpainted. Now I've put these together, assembled them and sprayed them with a yellow Halfords spray. This is prototypical on stations with the BR in the 1980s, 1970s. So the wire on here for the cages is so much scale compared with some others I've seen. So a pack of 4 of those. Just giving you the view here. I think they're pretty good. You can put luggage in there, sacks, etc. for a mail train. And it's what you'd see around stations, etc. The code for these is LX263 and they're from Scale Model Scenery. Another addition here from the Model Railway Scenery Company are these concrete bins, which come in a pack of 8. The code is LX014. They're superb. I've made 2 already. I've got loads to make. You can place these on a station, in a park, on the street, beside the street, sorry. And these are really easy to make. It's a laser cut material. I think it's card, I'm not sure. I've placed one there, and there's one over on the other side of the platform here. Very easy to make. Make these in minutes. And these are excellent. You could put litter sticking out of there if you wanted to. Just added this Metcalfe card kit with the signal levers to the signal box down at Ballan Parkway junction, where the throw to the junction is. It just makes such a difference with something in the signal box with a bit of detail there. As you can see, there's levers, there's bits of carpets and little detail in rocking chairs and things like that, and I think all this makes a difference. I'm going to get some little cabinets to put in there as well, just give it some more detail. But this all helps when it's all lit up. It looks pretty good. Just show you inside. You've got stove in there, you've got the point levers, desks, chairs, carpets and pictures on the wall. All adds to the final detail of the signal box, and that's from Metcalfe. Okay, let me show you this building. This is a back scene building, which is sort of a very small, low relief building, very thin. It's from Western Models, it's cardboard, and this is excellent. So basically it's an old warehouse factory building. I've weathered this with some charcoal. Basically get the grubby marks on there for the aging process, and rubbed it in with my finger. It seems to work really well, and it stayed on there. This is typical of some northern Midland buildings that's sort of been left for years and years, still used. And I've named this Chompy's Biscuit Company Limited. The reason I've called it that, it's a little nickname from my eldest daughter. I found this on the internet and cut this out, jiddle about with it a little bit, and this is a biscuit company, and basically it seals, there's a little join between the two back seams there, and it was out of kilter, and it just sort of sinks that end into the other end there and covers the gap in between. So in front of that I've done the scale model scenery low relief building, so like a 3D effect, and it seems to come out really well. This guy who makes this is pretty good. So it's cardboard and plastic by the looks of it, classic windows. Chompy's Biscuit Company. Okay, above the far end of the layout, where the shed is for the locomotive for the cement works, I've added this tall light tower. This is from Burco. Got this at Worley. An excellent little kit. It's a yellow lighted LED, so yellow lit LED. And this area here is going to be part of the quarry. Now I'm waiting for, I mean it's probably 2 years now, going for 2 years, there's a JCB from Oxford Models coming out, and it should have come out last year, it never did. So this area here, which is sort of bare, I'm trying to get a shadow on the camera, it's a bit difficult. I'm going to put some like concrete mixed paint down and put some caterpillar tracks where the excavator is going to go over it. I did have an excavator, put a modern one. I used that on the miniature Wonderland railway for the Great Model Railway Challenge. So if you see that, it's on there. So that got used in another way, which I wasn't expecting to do that this year, but it fitted in well with miniature Wonderland or Wonderland. But this is the tower. I'll give you a quick shot of that in the dark. Okay, this is an aerial view. It's the tower here. Seems a bit of weathering, but all this little detail is really good. I like the ladder on this, you can't see it in the dark, but that's for the far quarry area towards the engine shed. Again, a nice addition to the layout. Okay, I've acquired some more of these steam era tall yard lights, which were around in the BR days for a long time, and after, I believe. If you look at old photos of Leicester, I think they've only been taken down in the last few years. But these work. They all light up. They've had a problem with 2 of them not working. I think it's the wiring. I'm going to have to go back on that. So in the next video I'll show you when they're lit. But again, for the storage sidings and stabling points, it adds all that charm and detail. And down here I've repainted these lights at the side here in sort of a wood colour, and the ladders in a sort of metallic metal colour. They were just black and look plasticky. They're much better. Again, with these I painted them like the other ones I showed in the last video, update video, and look much better painted. They just come in a plain grey colour, which didn't really like. So that's the tall yard lights. I've been adding various speed restriction signs around the layouts just to double up really, because there were very many and it adds to the character of the layout. So on here, in the sidings for the cement works, storage sidings, there's a 5 mile an hour limit across the sidings there, overgrown sidings. And then the entrance to the sidings, we've got a 10 mile an hour sign. So slow speeds into the cement works throat, if you like, the entrance. Okay, you've got another one here coming out of the south end of the station past the storage and siding area, 35 miles an hour. Slightly bent 60 mile an hour limit, speed restriction, going past the cement works main line. Okay, I picked this brake van up at Worthing Model Railway Show back in September. It's from Kernow, Kernow Model Railway Supplies, which is a shop. I think they've got 2 shops now. I think they've got one in Guildford. This is a limited edition. It's the brake van with the yellow stripes on here, which is for vacuum brake trains, I believe. And this is weathered and worn, and I think it's a superb model. Let's take you around this. So if we look here, the detail on this is fantastic. So it's got yellow stripes down there, it's worn. I'm going to put a tail light in the back, which I've got, which is going to run off the track, the current off the track. So I need to do some engineering on that and get that fitted, but I'm sure there's only a few of these made, so I thought I've got to get that, just for the weathering alone is pretty good. It's got that worn look, and I'll be using that in the future. Okay, that's the brake van box from Bachmann Kernow. Okay, this is the hard standing area of the cement works rear, which goes towards a quarry. Now I did this a few years ago, and I've used balsa wood, which are weathered and filled in with various foliage and bits of grass, etc. What I've found is, in between the rails here, where cars and people can walk across it and drive across it, the balsa wood had swollen a little bit with a little bit of damp I've got in the garage, and that was snagging the locos. Now I've replaced this with the LX096 scale model scenery infill. Now it comes as a kit. I may use the rest of it for this area, but it seems to be alright at the moment. But definitely the infill here, it was snagging and just getting annoying actually. A little bit of moisture in there, very tiny amount, there's no water, but I think with the atmospheric conditions in the winter, that little millimetre, less than that, was snagging the locos. This is a different material. I don't know what it actually is. It's either card or wood or some MDF material, I'm not sure. But it's on the job. So I've put little oil splodges in here where the locos leaked, just as a bit of effect, at various stages down the track, and it appears to be running quite smoothly. Okay, some of the misfortunes of having a model railway is when things go wrong, which it has in this case. Basically, a few weeks ago I redid this car park in certain areas. I reprinted the sheets for the parking areas. Then we had a big rainstorm and it flooded the floor down here and it all went damp. The layout's fine, apart from this of course. And then we had a frost, which obviously condensation rises, and I came in the next day and it's leaked all over here. So the inks have gone everywhere. Pretty bad, looks a mess. Part of the road here, just one big blotch of rainwater which has discoloured the inks. So I'm going to have to redo that again. I'm going to leave that till spring when we shouldn't have any frost. Another bit here, again it's done the same thing. Just dripped down here. Now I did spray this with lacquer, it's not made any difference. So a little repair job of sign's fallen down there. Again, I can reprint this, probably about £15 worth of damage or something else I'll show you in a minute as well. It's not major expense, but an expense you didn't really want. So like this, for instance, this totem, it's illuminated and it's corroded and just fell apart basically. So I've got another one. I was at Worley. I picked one up from Layouts for You, and I think it let me have one for about £3.50 to £4. So no major expense. Got to rewire that. Got to find something to print on the side there, on the front. That'll be chucked, and I'll put a new one up. Okay, another section here which has seen some water damage from condensation alone. I redid this road again about a week before, and then we had the frost and down came the drips from the roof. So now I'm going to do this again. I'm going to wait till it's warmer next year before I redo this and reprint this. Also the level crossing bit, I'm going to reprint that. It had worn. So it's caused a little bit of damage there. And also the gasometer, you probably still see the water down there. It's warped the wall a bit. Whether that'll dry out straight, I don't know. I may have to replace that. I may be able to repair it, which is a shame, but that was actually covered in water. Now a friend of mine suggested putting some little greenhouse-like heaters here along the walls, just to take that edge off during the winter so you won't get this problem. Apparently they're not expensive, so it may be something I'll fit next year and it'll avoid all this getting damaged. So not major expense, but you don't need it, and it's frustrating when you put this hard work in and then over a night you come back and that's gone like that. Even though I covered some of this up, the moisture's got underneath the paper, which is part of the road. But it's repairable, so I'm not worrying too much about it, and the barriers still work, which is fine. So the electronics are fine. Also here in the river section, the river has turned a milky white. Now I used realistic water on here, which had dried really well, and the base for this riverbed is balsa wood, which I use. And obviously, like paper, it soaks up the moisture. So what's happened is this has soaked up the moisture, and there's moisture in there. It will dry out. I've had it before, but not as bad as this. So hopefully it will dry out anyway. But again, misfortunes of having a layout in the garage, you may get some of this. You see underneath, and if you can see here, that's a balsa wood there which I used to get that extra depth for the riverbed, because I cut all this out and stuck that underneath. These things happen. You can see it's dripped down here as well. You can see the stain there. So I'll need tidying up. Okay, I have a little problem here with the Bachmann Dynamis. Now I've had this over 10 years, so I've definitely got my money's worth out of this. I think I got paid about £95 for the whole set, including the receiver, which isn't bad at all. The problem I've got now is function 1 is playing up. It's very hard to use. Now, if there's anyone out there that's took this apart and cleaned the contacts, that's all that's wrong with this. Do I take the risk and take it apart and clean it up? Has anybody done that? Let me know, and I'd like to hear from you. I'm probably going to replace the controller at some stage soon. Not this year, but next year, with another controller. This is still working. Probably get a little bit of money for it, but I'd like to upgrade that. But if I can clean the contacts by taking it apart, if anyone's done that, let me know. That'd be great, thank you. Okay, this is the Class 14 diesel shunter, and I've had a little problem here. Not run it for a while, and what I find is if you run it constantly, it works excellent at slow speeds. But if you're not running it for a while, you have a bit of a problem. Not sure whether I'm going to keep this. It runs okay, but you're constantly cleaning the contacts. Now I should have put a stay alive capacitor in there to deal with this, but I didn't at the time. And also there's another problem here. Take my finger off there. There's a cowling which has gone missing. Basically it's not been run for months. I did a test run around the track and it's dropped off. So you've got a screw there, which you can see. So around the layout it's around somewhere. Now I've searched and searched with torches. I've set a camera took round. Can I find it? No. But it's around there somewhere. If I can't find it, there must be someone that makes that little extra piece. So if it doesn't turn up, I'm going to be looking for a spare.